Hey, welcome everybody to another episode of the Slightly Warped Podcast. I'm Rick, joined as always by Big Show. How are you, man?
I'm good, sir.
All
As
right,
good as can be expected for this time of year.
that is true. I see you still, getting them walks in every day.
Yes,
Keep
yes.
up that good work, man. Keep that up.
As uh, as crazy as it sounds, I'm still out there in the 14-degree weather, freezing my everything off.
Hey, I
I'm
understand.
50 now. I don't need it.
Nah,
If it freezes and fall off, I never needed it anyway.
you, you got the right approach. You got the right approach. Plus, you ain't going out there without no clothes on. You be all right.
This is true. This is true. Although sometimes being out there, it feels like I need more on.
Just remember, you can always peel off layers. You get out there and you long enough, and you ain't got no extra layers. You're in trouble.
Yep,
I
just means I move faster.
Hey, I like that in you. This is a crazy episode. We're gonna talk football. We're gonna kind of go backwards though before we move forward because a lot of you guys that keep up with us, uh, the last time you guys saw us or heard us, we were talking about week 13. So I want to let you know we will give those week 13 results. And then we're going to give the week 14 results to our picks. Um, we privately disclosed our picks for week 14, even though we didn't run a show, because just for continuity's sake, I would like to make sure that, we keep this train rolling. Um, and then we're going to talk about standout games and performances from this past week. We'll look forward to the coming week, week 15 in the NFL, and some college football too. We're going to talk college football. I'm going to throw a few curves here. Um, so, all that being said, let's start off with week 13.
No, I started off bad.
Yeah, but as of late, we put it together. Now, this is week 13. So, you guys looking at saying the Bears played the Lions on Thanksgiving. Yeah, again, I'm doing week 13 first. You had respectable 12-4 a week, and I finished 13-3. Um, Looking back, I'm wondering why I decided to pick the Falcons 2 weeks ago. Um, the Cardinals had me fooled, and the Ravens just aren't the Ravens when their kicker just can't seem to kick. On your end, uh, the Steelers took their frustration out on the Bengals after what Cleveland did to them. The Patriots one was a head scratcher because in that show you had actually went with the Colts and then you said no, I'm going with the Patriots. Oh, if you had only stayed with the Colts. uh Texans Jags, I get that one divisional game, anything can happen. And
And if I'm not mistaken, in that game, the Jags should have won. I think Texans like kicked the last minute field goal or something like that.
yes, but it's all good. The Saints and the Rams, that's another one, that could go either way, so I get that. So, not bad. Not bad at all.
Not bad.
Anytime you have, three times as many wins as you have losses, hey, you can't knock that. You can't knock that at all.
It was close.
Yeah, I mean, hey, like I said, it wasn't bad. Let me see what we got here for week 14. Also a respectable week for us. Let's see here. Packers at the Lions, we were spot on there. Um, I don't care how close the score might have seemed, it wasn't. Um, Detroit still scares me in the fact that if they don't get it together defensively, somebody's going to sneak up on them, and it's going to be a real short trip in the playoffs. The other thing about Detroit that scares me, Campbell, He's the true definition of a riverboat gambler. He plays Madden
He
when
is.
he's coaching. Fourth down, no problem. Send out the field goal unit? Nope. We're going to keep the team on the field. Oh, that's going to bite him in the ass. And I
Yeah, but
know,
you have to admire the fact that he doesn't change. He is
yeah,
what he is. You know what he's gonna, you know what you're in for. He's a gambler, and that's just what he is. And
that got Ron Rivera rode out the league, though.
nope, he didn't win like that. He hasn't won games like Dan Campbell.
That is true.
I mean, on no matter what team he coached for,
Yeah.
except
Uh,
for maybe Carolina when he had Cam. But other than that, yeah, no, you know what you're gonna get.
Jaguars and Titans. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of got lucky there. Um, the reason why I went with the Jags, I'm thinking, hey, you can't be much worse with the backup quarterback. I forget who their backup was, but um, he did just enough for them to win that game. Or you could say the Titans did just enough to lose it.
It's
Um,
it's the NFL.
that next stretch, we were spot on. Dolphins over the Jets, of course. The Vikings over the Falcons. The Saints over the Giants. The Panthers gave the Eagles a scare, but the Eagles outlasted them. The Steelers got that quick revenge game from just a couple weeks before from on the Browns. And then the Buccaneers did what the Buccaneers were supposed to do, and they beat the Raiders. Um, we both went with the Cardinals. Lesson learned there. 2 weeks in a row, I went with the Cardinals. 2 weeks in a row, I got burned. I'm probably not going to go with them this coming week. Uh,
Yeah, you are because they're playing the Patriots.
maybe so. Maybe you're right. Um, you went with the Rams. I went with the Bills. Uh, just like we were talking about with the Lions, the Bills aren't a complete team either, and they actually have more holes than you think. And the game against the Rams showed it.
Yes.
Yeah, their Super Bowl has already been won when they beat the Chiefs. If they have to face the Chiefs in the playoffs, it's going to be a different outcome. And you know, I hate to say it, but I'm basing it on reality. I'm basing it on truth. Um, I don't think they have what it takes to go deep in the playoffs. Now, that said, they could fool me. We'll see. Uh, Bears and the 49ers. This was an interesting one. You went with the Bears. What made you go with them?
Because of their injuries. 49ers had, CMC was out, Debo was questionable, Purdy was questionable. I just figured it was at home, so they wouldn't be playing their main guys, and Bears would have a shot. It's just a hunch, but it didn't work out.
We both went with the Chiefs over the Chargers. That game was closer than I thought it would be, though. Um, had it been for the goalpost actually being where it was supposed to be, that that saved the Chiefs. Um, interesting here. This last game from Monday night, you went with the Cowboys. I went with the Bengals. For the first 3 and 3/4 quarters, I thought you were going to win this game.
They should have won the
Um,
game.
yeah, should have won the game. Uh, before we close this out, I'm going to ask you because several coaches are on the hot seat, but I want to look
Hmm.
specifically at Mike McCarthy. Do you think he's the Cowboys head coach next year?
Yes.
Why so?
I just don't feel Jerry Jones is going to do anything different. I mean, who out there right now would be a better coach? You know Belichick's not going to coach there because he's going to North Carolina.
I get that.
So Belichick's off the table. Who's a better coach? Who would be better in that position? that's
I
attainable.
I don't know because my team is going through the exact same thing. So I get that. Um,
Unless some, you know, main coach, decides that he wants to take a shot, that's something. I just because there's nothing out there that's better than McCarthy. And McCarthy's playing with his hand behind it, coaching with his hands tied, with Dak being out and all the injuries he had to deal with, I think he gets one more year.
okay, not saying that you're wrong. You're probably right. Um, it it just seems like we went this around and around with McCarthy for a couple of years now. It just seems like his teams underperform. I could be wrong. Because
Well, I mean,
I
if you
know
look
they've
at the
had a
last,
couple 11-win seasons, so I can't really
well,
say
yeah,
that it's year in and year out.
if you look at the last couple of years, they made the playoffs. They just got bounced early.
Yeah.
I mean, last year they got throttled by the Packers, I think. And the year before that, it was the 49ers. I think the year before that, it was the 49ers. So it's not that they haven't won in the regular season. They just sucked this year. If they
You
suck
just
twice in a row, I think, that's when Jerry will pull the trigger.
you just make it sound so matter of factly. They just sucked this year.
They do. I mean, they just do. They are not a very good, just like Cincinnati. They have all the players on the field to be really good. They just suck this year. Things haven't gone their way. Just like the Chiefs, everything has gone their way. Everything hasn't gone Cincinnati's and Dallas's way. It is what it is. It'll right itself.
And that's why the Chiefs are currently my pick to win the Super Bowl because you know how you get a Super Bowl squad and you look at it at the end of the year and you're like, hey, they had a game here and a game there that went their way. The Chiefs have had several games here and there that went their way. So it's almost like, and you hate to use the word destiny, but I mean, at this point, throw me the name of any team out, any team, and tell me if they can really stop them in a championship game.
Baltimore, Buffalo, Pittsburgh. Those three teams could stop us in the championship game.
I would say this. Pittsburgh has the defense to match Kansas City, but Kansas City's defense can match Pittsburgh's offense. And to me,
I
Russell
don't think
Wilson
so.
is more prone to make the big mistake before Patrick Mahomes would. I mean, it would be close.
Uh,
And we're going to
I
find
mean,
out. I believe they play on Christmas Day. So
yeah,
we're going
they
to find
they
out.
do. Uh, you know, Russ Russ has magic just like Mahomes does, and the Steelers are they're hot. They're hot, and I think that
Now
they
what's that receiver's name? He didn't play last week, but for Pittsburgh, uh,
I don't know.
I forget. If you don't have a corner that can match up with him, he will burn you all day long.
Yeah, and our corners are not very good. I mean, we have McDuffie, but our secondary needs help, and our tackles are a problem. Um, and we're not getting any pressure on the quarterback. We can't get no pressure with our front four. So the only way we get pressure is by blitzing. And if our offense um, actually did what it's capable of doing, then our defense would be just fine.
Man, that receiver Worthy, he scares me.
Why?
He the kid's speed is incredible. Um, he may not be the best route runner, but when he gets that together, he's going to be unstoppable.
Yeah, I mean that's the same thing they said about Hill. When he came in, he was the fastest guy in the league, but didn't have no route trees, couldn't catch a cold. And then he worked on that, and then he is what he is. So
Yeah.
we'll see. We'll see.
Well, he'll let a lot of it go to his head too, and that's why he's
I
where
tell
he
you
is.
this, if we're not able to protect 15, it doesn't matter who we have out there trying to catch the ball.
Yeah. Now let me now you brought up Pittsburgh, and that's a good reason why I bring up Buffalo is the opposite respect. Um, Buffalo threw everything they had at you and won the game. I feel like Kansas City was just measuring them in a prize fight to see what all Buffalo had. And I feel that Spags is going to come up with something to stop what Buffalo had to throw at them. That's why I don't
I,
think Buffalo is as big a threat as the Pittsburghs or the Baltimores.
they're just as scary as those other two teams. Josh Allen has been playing outside of his mind this year. He's in God mode, the way he's playing. And he should be hands down, he's going to be the MVP. I don't think Saquon's going to get it. Josh is going to be the MVP
Really?
because he's a quarterback. Um, they are playing very, very, very well. And yes, the difference in the playoffs is those teams that haven't done it tighten up.
Yeah. Now,
Those teams that have done it know what they're in for and know how to handle the pressure. That's the only difference. If Buffalo comes to Kansas City in the playoffs, that's going to be a scary game because all the pressure is going to be on Kansas City. Now, if we had to go to Buffalo, I wouldn't be as scared because all the pressure is going to be on Buffalo because they're in front of their own fans. They're going against their nemesis, you know, those things. But those three teams scare me in the
well,
playoffs.
let me tell you why Baltimore scares me. Baltimore is where Buffalo was a few years ago. You can't beat Kansas City. You thought you had them beat, and you still lost that game. They are in that mode where they're wondering, what the hell is it we have to do? That's what makes them scary. They know that they should have won that week 1 contest. They know it. They blew it.
If
I
I had
think
to rank those three teams as in scary, 1 to 3, Baltimore would be 3.
so. You got what? Who's 1 and 2?
I would probably go Philly. I would probably go Pittsburgh, Buffalo, Baltimore. That would be my order of scary teams.
Mm, 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 mm,
Baltimore
mm,
doesn't scare me as much because their coaching staff
mm.
always does something to screw something up. They don't, and that's also why Buffalo isn't number one is because Sean McDermott doesn't know how to manage the clock, does stupid things at stupid times. Tomlin, on the other hand, with a good team behind him, that's a formidable team.
Now, I will say this for Sean McDermott. He thought he had the game won a few years ago with 14 seconds left on the clock. I mean, you can't
13.
manage either way. That's even worse. You can't manage it even better than that. But Mahomes was Mahomes, and ball game. So yeah, I see what
The
you're
only
saying,
thing that
but
the only thing that McDermott did wrong on that game was not squib kicking the ball. You squib kick the ball, the clock continues to run. You kick it in the end zone, the clock never turns.
yeah,
And that's why, but you can't blame Sean McDermott for his defense not tightening up. I mean,
yeah, yeah.
that's what I blame him for.
And weren't they in a prevent? Uh, uh,
Yes, they were actually protecting the sidelines too much, and we had timeouts, and so one of my favorite mic'd up moments is when they throw the first pass. I think it was to Tyreek. He goes down, calls the timeout, and Travis, walks past Mahomes and says, "Hey, if they line up like that again, I'm gonna be psh, psh, just throw right." And you hear as Mahomes is at the line, he's doing his cadence, and all of a sudden he goes, "Do it, Kels! Do it! Do it! Do it, Kels!" in his cadence, and Kelsey runs, his little 15-yard, turns around, gets the ball. They're in field goal range, timeout, kicks the ball, we're going to overtime.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite moments about that game.
They hurt him
I mean
too. They hit him where it
that
hurts.
year that year was a disappointment because obviously we lost the championship game to the Bengals, but that was fun.
Well, you don't have to worry about the Bengals this year.
No,
All all right. Let's talk about this upcoming week, week 15.
all right.
Thursday night, we do have the Rams at the 49ers. Who do you have? Who do you have? Who do you have?
I'm gonna go with the Niners.
I think I'm going to agree with you on that. Um, the very first game on Sunday at noon, the Chiefs at the Browns. Um, I don't want to call this a trapdoor game. 92% of America believes that, the Chiefs are going to win this game. I'm going to say the Chiefs. I'm going to say the Chiefs.
Yeah, it's gonna be another close game, but I also will pick Kansas City to win this game.
All right, Bengals at the Titans.
Who?
Bengals at the Titans.
Ooh,
I'm going to go with the
I'm
Bengals.
gonna. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Cincinnati.
Washington Commanders at the Saints, the Carless Saints. I'm going to go with the Commanders on this.
Yeah, the Commanders are coming off a bye. They're rested. I'm gonna go with them as well.
Ravens at the Giants. This shouldn't even be allowed. Ravens.
Agree.
Cowboys at the Panthers.
I'm going Panthers.
Ooh. Mm, I feel you. I feel you. Now, believe it or not, if this game was in Texas, I would go with the Panthers. But because it's in Carolina, I'm going to go with the Cowboys. So this will be our first difference of the week. Uh, the Jets at the Jags. I'm actually going to go with the Jets.
Hmm. Yeah, me as well.
And it's not because they're that much superior, but I think they're still smartened by what the Dolphins did to them in that game last week in overtime. Speaking of, the Dolphins are at the Texans. This should be a good one. Uh, I think I'm going to go with Miami on this though.
I'm gonna go with Houston.
Okay.
Houston's coming off a bye, so they've had a couple weeks to prepare.
Oh, you're right. They had a bye. I'm going to change mine to the Texans as well because D'Amico Ryans has had 2 weeks. Okay, you're right. I'm going to go with the Texans. So we're both going with the Texans on that. Colts and the Broncos at 3 p.m. I'm going to go with the Broncos.
I as well going to go with the Broncos.
Here is the marquee matchup for the 3 o'clock games: the Bills at the Lions.
There's actually two marquee matchups.
Oh yeah, I'm looking ahead. Okay, yeah. We'll get to that one in a second. For
So
this
we're
one, I'm going to
Bills and
go
the
with the
Lions.
Lions. I'm going to go with the Lions.
Mhm. Man, I want the Lions to win, but I'm gonna pick Buffalo.
Okay. Now here's that other game you were talking about: the Steelers at the Eagles. Hmm.
I'm going with the team from Pennsylvania.
The team in black or the team in green?
Hmm. I'm gonna go Eagles.
Eagles. Um, I'm gonna agree with you. I'm gonna agree with you. Eagles. Um, and here's that game we were talking about earlier. The Patriots are at the Cardinals. Yeah, I'm going with the Cardinals.
I knew you would. 3 weeks in a row.
I know.
I'm also gonna go with the Cardinals,
They let me down this week. I'm through with the Cardinals. Uh, the
unless they play New York Giants next week.
exactly. Buccaneers at the Chargers. Hmm.
This ought to
This
be
this
a
has
good one.
makings. Yeah. I'm
I'm
gonna
going with
say
the
the
Bucks.
Chargers. Ooh.
I'm going with the Bucks.
You're going with the Bucks. I'm going with the Chargers.
Yeah, the
Um,
Chargers are good, don't get me wrong, but the Buccaneers are crazy uh with oh what's their quarterback? The
Baker
dude who used to
Mayfield.
play for, yeah, with Mayfield. So yeah, Bucks. I'm going Bucks.
Okay. The night game. The Packers at the Seahawks. I think I'm gonna
Pack
go with
attack.
the Packers. Okay, we're in agreement on that. And then that leads us to oh
Oh,
wow,
we have two
there are
Monday
two
night
Monday
games.
night games. Two Monday night games. So the 7 o'clock Monday night game is the Bears at the Vikings, and I'm gonna go with the Vikings.
I'm going to go with the Chicago Bears to lose to the Minnesota Vikings.
All right, and then the 7:30 game. Wow, do we even deserve a Monday night game? The Falcons at the Raiders. This is the toilet bowl. But you know what? For the first time since week 2, I am going with the Raiders to lose the game.
Mm.
Falcons will win it. I'm going with the Falcons. It's too late to be winning a game. We need that number 1 draft pick.
Oh, there's not a worse AFC team record, right? Let me go up here and see the Jets. Yeah, the Jets have 3 wins, so you're good. Jags have 3 wins. One of those teams is gonna win. So, um, man, I want to pick the Falcons. I do. But I think to me, Kirk Cousins has the yips. There's something off about him. So I am going. I know this is going to be unbelievable. I'm going with the Raiders. I'm going to pick the Raiders.
Okay. Now I wouldn't be surprised if Vegas wins this game because who is their third string quarterback? He's playing and he was a
Oh
Falcon.
shit, that's right, DJ Ritter. Um,
Yeah.
I no, he got hurt too, and Aiden Connell got hurt, right?
Yeah, Aiken got hurt.
So it is Ritter. I forgot that your first two quarterbacks are down. I'm
Yeah.
switching my pick to the Falcons.
All right, so we are both going with the Falcons then. All right, there we go. All right, so that's going to be our picks, and we're going to find out next week whether or not we can keep this thing going or we're just going to, fall completely into the toilet. Before we close it out, though, Big Show, I had talked about the college playoffs. I just want to know how you see it shaping. First of all, do you think it's going to be Texas or Clemson facing Arizona State? I got Texas and Arizona State.
Yeah, probably Texas. Um, and then I see Texas going all the way to the semifinals.
And we can
Uh,
we can crunch that down, next week. I
oh,
just
so we want to go
we're
week
just
by
gonna
week?
go. Yeah, we're
Okay,
just gonna go with the quarterfinals right now.
gotcha. Okay, and then probably Ohio State.
I got that too.
I'm gonna
Now,
go with SMU.
oh, I was getting ready to say that too. I don't know if Penn State really. I just don't know. I'm going with
I mean,
SMU as well. No,
Penn
don't.
State got
They're
Penn.
legit, but
I mean, they got mollywopped in the Big Ten championship game by Oregon. So it is what it is. SMU should have won their championship game, but they lost uh, to Clemson, I think it was.
yeah. And,
Anyway,
and Notre Dame will play
SMU.
Georgia. Notre Dame will
Yeah,
advance.
I also go with Notre Dame. Yes.
Yeah. So we're in agreement on all 4 of those. So we're gonna see, if we can at least be perfect on our college picks since our
I don't
NFL
think
picks are
those.
kind of
I think we have another week before those start. I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
the 20th and the 21st is when those games are.
Well, we'll just have a chance to change those picks next week.
Yeah, we won't need
And,
to.
and we also have several weeks before they pick the Heisman.
Yeah.
Right now, who do you got winning the Heisman right now? Dylan Gabriel,
Yeah.
Travis Hunter, Ashton Genie, and Cam Ward. Now,
Cam Ward isn't even gonna sniff the trophy because of the other three guys. I think it's gonna come down to Hunter and Janty. Janty should win it,
I
I think,
agree.
was your state. Um,
I think Gabriel would come in second over Hunter.
I don't, just because of the hype that Hunter's gotten throughout the year, the last couple years,
I
being the
and that was the
two
reason
way.
why I picked Dylan Gabriel because of that national attention, and it's Oregon and all that.
Yeah, but you haven't heard of David. You didn't even know who Gabriel was till you got this picture.
Sure, I did because I've followed Oregon. Now
If
you
I
mean
asked you last week who the quarterback of Oregon was, you would have told me it was Gabriel.
yeah, he was one of the ones that I wanted my team to draft, not Shador. I would rather have Cam Ward, to be honest, than Shador because I don't, and that's another issue for another episode. But I'm just not sold on Shador Sanders as an NFL quarterback. I could
I
be
think
wrong,
Hunt. I think Hunter's going to be number two, just
but
because of
even though
his.
we disagree on number two, we both agree that Ashton is the clear cut winner.
Yeah, I think he's going to win because he broke Barry Sanders' record,
Yeah.
collegiate record. But like I said, I think Hunter's going to be number two just because of all of the hoopla he's gotten and the fact that he is the two-way player that only takes like 10 plays off a game. I mean, he's playing 100 plus snaps a game. So, and he is legit at both positions that he plays. What I'm curious about Hunter is what he's going to when he goes into the draft, what position is he going to choose?
Now he has said that he would like to still play both, but depending
He'll
on
play
where he
both.
goes,
He'll play both still, but he's not going to play 100 snaps
no, no,
in the
no.
NFL a
That's what I'm
game.
saying. Depending on what team he goes to and what coach drafts him, they're going to still try to shape him to be more of one than the other. They won't stop him from playing both ways, but um,
Well, and he's going to have to prove that he can,
yeah, yeah,
you
and
know.
that's a
I
hard
th-
thing to do in the NFL.
I think he should go in as a defensive back and then work his way as an offensive guy. I think he should go in as a cornerback.
Just
Do
out of
the same thing that
curiosity,
Charles Woodson and Deion Sanders did. The same
yeah,
mindset.
who was the last Heisman winner that played both ways?
I don't think there's been one.
Um,
Well,
um,
Charles Woodson from Michigan. That would probably be the last one.
let me look that up because that's been a while. Then, if he was the last one, and Charles Woodson, 1997. Yeah, the man. It's been a minute. He's considered the only player in the modern era to win the
Yeah,
Heisman playing
let's say.
significant minutes on both sides.
Yeah, and he did the same thing that well, he didn't do the exact same thing as Hunter, but and I guess, the recruiting class coming in for Colorado, they have another guy that basically does the same thing as Hunter. And I guess they got the top number one prospect for quarterback to replace Shador as well.
Mm, go
So that ought to
Dion,
be
go.
fun.
Ought to
That
be
ought to
fun.
be fun.
All right. You got anything else before we get on up out of here?
Um, no, nope. I think we did it back in full effect.
Back in full effect. Yes, sir. All right. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep going for them walks. Getting stronger every day. 1% better every day. And take us on up out of here.
Thank you guys for watching. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the little bell for the notifications. And yeah, we'll see you next week.
All right.
Remember, hug your loved ones. They're not tomorrow's not promised.
Take it easy, everybody.